Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylee. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Elite Life Podcast with Trisha and Kylee. Today's episode is going to be sort of a quickie rundown on some tips you can implement in your business and even in your personal life that will help you now and down the road.
Yeah, I had this idea because my side hustle, because I have a hard time turning down a side hustle, is administrative consulting. And for people who are like, she made that up, I absolutely did. It's basically an opportunity for me to come in to a business, kind of look at their standard operating procedures if they have any, and just kind of help the business owner. Because a lot of business owners are of the what I call the innovator mindset. They have a lot of ideas, but they're not really great at implementing those things and capturing them in a duplicable process. So I come in and do all of that. So I wanted to share it with our listeners because putting some of these things in place, especially in your business, is going to help as you scale and grow and you start to do more, because that's the goal of having a company and running a business, is making more money. And so even if you're just in the foundational years of your business, first 1 to 5 years, putting these things in place now is going to really set you up for success for when you bring on like a virtual assistant or a transaction coordinator or an administrative anybody. Okay, so here's the list. Few things that you can easily implement in your business now that will definitely help you down the road. Number one, an intuitive filing system with naming protocols. That was the other thing that's right here on this list that I'm definitely reading off of. All right, intuitive filing system with naming protocols. So this sounds a lot more complicated and nerdy than it actually is. Basically, what this means is you need to have some kind of file repository or database, and the way that you name your files must be consistent. So throughout the whole repository. So for example, like when we talk about like color coding, use colors that make sense. So when I say intuitive, we all know red means stop. Red means caution. Red means pay attention, right? Green means go. Green is good to go. So a lot of my clients, when we start a new file, if there are documents missing that we need to continue to follow up on, they'll color that one red, meaning needs attention. Or good to go means actively listed, things like that. And when I say intuitive, when it comes to the file naming procedure, think of the way that you look for information in your Google Drive, in your computer, like any digital place that you're storing things, Google Photos, things like that. When you're looking for information, if you're looking for something specific, usually you're dealing with a date, the document type, or the client name. So when I come in and I'm talking to business owners about having a consistent naming protocol for their files, we're talking about, okay, so when we have a new file, we're gonna name it date. So like 2022.10.4. So that's 2022 October 4th, right?
Yeah, and I think I love that you're adding the date, because I know for me, now that we've been in real estate for dang near 20 years.
Oh my God, you showing you're telling stories now.
Right, but I run all my books through QuickBooks, and I always in the memo have put the address, right? Well, now that we've been doing business for so long, we have actually as a company bought and sold the same address multiple times.
Right.
So you need to have that date to differentiate. Or with like names, we might have like 16 John Smiths or 5 Rafael Rodriguez. Like there are some names that are very common.
Rafael Rodriguez is a common name.
Yeah, actually. Yes, actually.
I was totally buying John Smith, but not Raphael.
Yeah.
We live in America.
Yes.
We're diverse.
We live in America, and we are diverse, and we are a diverse company, and we reach all cultures, all classes, all areas. We service the whole mitten. For those of you who can't see me on camera, I used my hands.
We're true Michiganders.
Yeah, but it's super, super important what you're saying to have like the date and the street and the client's last name, or, you know, some combination of the two, because being a business owner, when you start on day one, you're not thinking about the you 15 years down the road.
Not.
So it's very easy to just put John Smith, and then all of a sudden it's like John Smith Artesian, and then it's like, oh wait, John Smith bought the house on Artesian, then sold the house on Artesian, and we sold it to one of our own clients. Like, one thing we do a lot at our office is both sides of the deal. One agent is the buyer side, one agent is the seller side. So if we're only saving it by address, now we're screwed, right? Like, we have to have address and client and date to make it.
And it's also important too, like you just said, like especially working in real estate or like lawn service or whatever, like you want to make sure that you have the numbers on the house. Because like, what if you bought and sold 15 houses on Artesian because all the neighbors saw your sign going up and down, up and down, up and down?
Yes.
So it's really important to put that data in there, because like when you're looking in your Google Drive, you want to be able to search Karen Smith and find everything associated with Karen Smith. Or what if you're like, oh, what was that client's name? I remember it was 123 Apple Street. You should be able to search that. Okay.
Yeah, and I love the color coding too, because of course that's my Google Calendar is color coded.
Color coding is so delicious.
Yeah, and I think it's also helpful, like for realtors, you're able to say, okay, well, Monday I do everything that's coded red. It has to get done. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And if I get everything in red, then next I'll work on some yellow things, right? And then every Tuesday I go through my green things and just make sure everything is still staying green, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that organization, kind of like we talked about in the episode with Sarah from At Your Service.
Yes.
She talked about organizing your home. If you guys haven't heard the episode, definitely go back. There's so many great tips on organization in your home and in your life. So I love this because it just builds on that organization. We are living the elite life. We're staying organized in our business, in our home, in our Google Calendar, in our filing system.
Yeah.
And then just to touch on one other thing that you said, because I was thinking about when I'm reading through these notes and I'm thinking about what you're saying, I'm thinking of day one in the business, Trish, and I would have never known what a standard operating procedure was. But day one business owners, what Kylie's breaking down for you is like, have some checklists.
Yeah.
Have it written out. This is how we do a thing, right? When I first started, it was like, ooh, I'm bringing on new agents. What do I do with them, right? As soon as I actually made a checklist, which is a standard operating procedure, now I know that I do these 5 things with the agents, and then Kim does these 5 things with the agents, and then Andy does these 5 things with the agents, and then Kylee does these 5 things with the agents.
Yeah.
And this is our standard operating procedure, and then it's so smooth, and we just, any agent, no matter how much business they've done, or if they're brand new in the business, we plug them into the system and we're able to make sure everything transitions quickly and easily.
Yeah, and even too, like, and that's really what's next on the list is like talking about these standard operating procedures, because like, especially for solo entrepreneurs, like you're just doing the things. You're just going through your day.
Yeah.
You know what needs to be done. You know how to do it. So you just execute. Well, what happens when you want to grow and you need to spend more time on the money-making activities, the client-facing activities, and less time on the administrative stuff like tracking down this paperwork or calling the city or doing these things? And Trisha's right. It's basically a checklist. And so like what I do in my GoldenEye consulting with business administration is saying, okay, well, like for example, when a lead comes in, like let's talk about the journey that this lead takes from incoming to, past client, closed file. And you literally write down every single thing, like ask them these questions, put this file, create this here. And that is so, so important. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be like this big fancy manual like you see a lot of, these companies have. Is like, it can literally just be a Google document that you open up and you literally just start. And a lot of solo entrepreneurs, I've given a lot of advice about like, it doesn't have to be like this big thing. It's just keep this Google document up while you're going through your day and just write down what you're doing. It's literally that simple, and it can be that beautiful. And having that procedure written down is going to help you when you onboard an admin to help you. You could say, okay, all the things I've highlighted in yellow, boop, those belong to you now, and you can move on to making more money, so the both of you can make more money, and you can take everybody's money.
Well, and it also saves you from burnout, because here's something that happens so often is I am the business, right? I'm going to open this company, and now I'm the business, and I am wearing all the hats. Well, at some point you have to start delegating those hats out, and you're going to get really frustrated that people don't do it like you.
Right.
Well, they can do it like you if you give them a roadmap of how to do it like you. And the sooner you do that and you offload these things, the sooner, like you said, you can do money-making activities, but also the sooner you can get back to having a life. Like,
right.
I can go on vacation because everybody is able and knows how to be me when I'm gone.
Right.
I don't have to worry, are agents getting paid? Are they getting paid timely? Are they getting paid properly? Because we have the systems and the standard operating procedures in place and the checklists in place that when I'm not there, everybody knows what to do to keep the bus on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll round this one out by just saying, like, a couple tips that I want to throw out here for free. So you can use Google Docs and Google Sheets, and what I love is a screen capture app. So sometimes when you're trying to translate the things that you're doing, it doesn't always go well when you're trying to write it down. That's why having a screen capture app is so, so beautiful. So I use Vidyard. Shout out to Vidyard. They just monetized it. Damn it. And so, before you used to create as many videos as you want, and now you have like 25, but that's neither here nor there. The point is being able to capture that procedure as you're walking through it and explaining what you're doing, and not just what you're doing, but why. Anybody who's going to come on and help you, they should understand why you're doing things a specific way. Like, if you do this activity before this activity, make sure that they understand why A comes before B, and that's going to help them, number one, help you find any holes. That's another super benefit to outlining your standing operator procedures. And number two, they're going to help be able to give you a fresh set of eyes and help you improve. And then just make sure that whatever you're doing, you're capturing it in a spot and naming it something that you're going to find later on the road. Yes. All right. I have one more tip, but I think I'm going to make them wait for it.
Oh, well, these have been really great tips, and everything that you have mentioned is so super important.
And you can verify, like, This lady has been in business for a good long while, so she can verify and testify to the gospel of what I'm saying right now.
It is. I will say, like, as soon as I started making, like I said, checklists, and like you're saying, the videos have been so crucial. Like, even with our documents, like, I think it's a lot of times realtors like want to have a team, or they want to scale their business. Or even if you're in the multi-level marketing space, you're selling Beachbody, you're selling shakes, you're selling fitness, whatever you are selling, success leaves clues, and you're like, how can I make 100 little me's? Well, you can make 100 little me's if you make a video of exactly what you do, have them watch it over and over, and then repeat it, right? Repeat it, watch it, repeat it.
Yeah.
And then you're able to make 100 little U's. But if they don't have a video to be able to watch and then mimic, they can't do what you're doing, right? So you're just making it easy for them to see it, like you said, know the why, and then duplicate it. So so this is a great place to stop. Let's pause for a word from our sponsor just for a second, but come right back, because I know what Kylie's going to say next, and it's fantastic.
Do you know more than 80% of real estate agents fail and quit in their first year of business? MyStarsAcademy.com has set out to solve this problem by providing a convenient, expert-based training and coaching program for both agents and brokers. The Agent Accelerator program teaches agents everything they need to know to level up their business, have a constant flow of free leads, convert those leads into clients, and take those clients to the closing table and keep them coming back for more as repeat business. Our industry experts have years of proven success in the business and are here to share that gold through one-on-one coaching. This will help you achieve more structure and work-life balance. We will map you a plan you can follow, which will guide you through the steps to scale and grow in both your business and personal life. Don't be a statistic. Visit mystarsacademy.com and enroll today so you can get the success you deserve.
And we're back. If you're just catching up with us, Kylee was dropping some knowledge on some little things you can do now that will make a huge difference in your business down the road. So far, we've talked about the importance of consistent filing processes, making sure you establish operating procedures for how you run your business, have those checklists, those color codes all ready for the future you. Even if you're a realtor flying solo, establishing these things now will help you bring on assistance, scale, and grow, and allow you to do more volume and even take some vacations here and there. So Kylee, I am super excited. What is your last tip for our listeners?
It's your favorite thing. We're talking about auditing. So you should be consistent, and we talk about auditing a lot, but again, success leaves clues, right? Mm-hmm. So you should be consistently auditing your procedures to see where you can improve, make more efficient, maybe get rid of things. And I'm not saying reinvent the wheel or fix things that ain't broke. What I'm saying is there's always something that you could do better. There's always a new tool. I mean, we live in such a technological age. There's literally a tool out there, an app out there for anything that you need to do, and that'll make it quicker, more efficient. Like when I quit using Paint, when I quit using Microsoft Paint and I started using Canva, my whole freaking world changed. And I was able to create better stuff quicker and just be done with it and just move on with my life. So you don't need to hire someone like me, right? I want to just say that up front. You don't need to hire someone like me. You can test your standard operating procedures. So like we talked about before the break, once you've written everything down, it doesn't have to be fancy. Make sure it's please like just not in a notebook, like put it on a Google Doc or something like that, or in a spreadsheet. Once you have all of that, you should be testing it out. Like you should be having your mom come over, having your brother come over, having a friend come over, and walk through those steps without any direction from you and just see how well it goes, because that is going to really show you where the holes are. And they might be able to give you some fresh perspective and feedback on like, well, why are you doing it this way when you could be doing it that way and it would take less time and make more intuitive sense? Because sometimes I feel like we can overcomplicate things with like procedure, when really less is more sometimes. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I love that you shared all of these things with us, because it really helped me think back to day one in the business me and how we have done all of these things. Like when I think about our document packages and what you just said, when I opened Elite Realty's office, our offer package was 67 pages. 67 pages.
Why?
And it had all of these disclosures and all of these like don't commit fraud disclosure and 3 agency disclosures and condo attachments and FHA attachments and like just all of these pieces of paper, buy-sell resolution. Everybody agrees that everything is done. And when
everybody agrees that we're buying this house.
Right. And the thing is, when I've gone through business and say one of my agents ended up going to arbitration over something, I'll take 100 pages of evidence of how we're right. And, basically they're like, why do you think you're right? Why do you think you're right? Okay, we decided you're right. And I've won every time. But what I've learned is you don't need 100 pages. Like nobody looks at any of that stuff. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. Like if you do what's right, you're gonna win. If you do what's wrong, you're gonna lose. You don't need 87 pages. So literally every single year I do exactly what you're talking about. And I go through our documents and I ask Our agents, do you use all these things? What do you think could make this document package better? How could we make this more efficient? And then, of course, I'm writing offers and writing listings myself. And here's what happens is like you're going through so fast, you see something that's wrong and you just want to move on and get that offer in. You have to take the time to write that down, whether you're on the side of you're the person that can revise the docs or you know that this should be revised. Like if you're a realtor and your broker has like broken things in their docs, write a list and give it to them because that's going to be helpful to you. That's going to be helpful to your broker. If you're the broker and you're writing up stuff on your own sheets and you see that 2 fields aren't connected, so the address is having to be retyped 16 times.
Oh, God.
Get that fixed. Like, don't continue to use something that's broken. So what that basically means is sit down and look at, I have it on my Google Calendar every single year in January, I redo all my docs. And it used to be something like Andy would laugh about, like you're redoing the docs again, you're redoing the docs again.
Yeah.
But yes, because the market's always changing, we can always get more efficient, we can always get better. There's always some sort of bug that needs to be tweaked. And I think that, actually, I know that that's something that we have done really well as a company because people have complimented on. I love that you guys are able to pivot and move and change and adjust when somebody gives you a suggestion very quickly, very easy, very fluidly if it's something that's going to make it better. You don't just say, well, this is how we've always done it, so this is how it's going to be done. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean it's the best way to do it.
Right.
So always be open to being coachable and asking the question. When I started asking the question, how can this be better? Whether it be a document that my agents are writing, our onboarding process, a training video. And I'm always looking at those too, looking at our training videos. Is this still relevant to this market, right? You know what? We're not in a highest and best situation every single deal anymore. I need to redo the videos for our buyer's agents, right? Because now we can ask for concessions and we can do different things and blah, blah, blah. So getting very long-winded about that whole situation.
Yeah,
yes.
Can you just bring it home, please?
Audit all your things all the time.
Yeah, and everyone appreciates those little tweaks, like you said. So, I hope you listeners got a chance to jot some of these things down. I like to nerd out over admin stuff, which if you would have told like 20-year-old Kylee that she was going to turn into like a Google Sheets, junkie, I would have been like, nah, that's for losers. And I'm like, oh my God, I've created a spreadsheet. I'm so excited. But if you need help, reach out to me. My phone number is 248-795-1905. I'm happy to talk to you about administrative stuff and like getting set up for success because I come into situations so many times like with these business owners where like they're already in the throes of growth and scaling and like once you turn that machine on, it's hard to turn it off. And so like I've had to come in, help them clean things up, help them create new things, and honestly help them offboard some employees who are just not getting on the bus for efficiency. But that's for another episode. So we have fresh episodes every Thursday. Please come back wherever you're listening. Drop us a comment. Give us a 5-star review. Like, share, subscribe. And don't forget to, like I said, come back every Thursday. Come back next week, please. Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Live with Trish and Kylee. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace, and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.
We already got the clap from Dave, so we better start the show. All right, take it away.